So, DC here, guys and gals. Well, it is Saturday morning. We had rain showers in the night, and the weather's been weird this week. You know how sometimes you say that the weather people have been able to, at least in Switzerland, I found that they've been able to predict it over a week ahead of time, and really very quite precise. But the last few weeks, they've been like telling us you're going to have rain. Well, we did have rain, but we didn't have rain as much as they said. And then we did, and then we didn't. Or it's supposed to rain all day, and it rained only part of the day. So today, you know, they were telling us all week, more or less, today was going to be a really rotten day. And it's cloudy, but it's not the way it is. You know, it's still not an exact science. No matter what, I was going to say, no matter what all the climatologists are trying to tell us, it's still not an exact science. But, you know, it's kind of getting there, isn't it? Anyway, but I wasn't going to talk about the weather today. Yeah, I was going to... I'd give a name to this video. I'd probably call it A Tale of Two Batmobiles. What do you mean, Batmobiles? 10 years ago, at least, because we've been on YouTube, what, over 11, 12 years now, I suppose. I had one of my first videos, I'd say in the first 10 at least, if not even in the first 5, probably, I was talking about a Batmobile. Now, the story is that when I was a young boy, we lived in a town called Sutton, which was on the Vermont border. And that town actually was a very small town. At the time, it's kind of grown a little bit, but anyway, but when we would go shopping, which would be once a month, we'd go to a place called Granby. Granby is a slightly larger town. It's probably today's it's probably about, I don't know, between 60 and 80,000, I guess now. Might even be a bit bigger than that, actually. Anyway, it doesn't really matter for the story, but because that was where the place, the town where all the shopping centers were. They were the first fast foods at the time. I think probably the first McDonald's at the time, and Kentucky Fried Chicken was probably all there was. And of course there was pizza places and you know, things like that. Anyway, and so we would go once a month there, and it was around Mother's Day, the month before or a few weeks before Mother's Day. So of course, as kids thought, well, you know, this is of course the time to look for a Mother's Day gift, especially because there's a lot more choice than the few stores that we had in town. So my brother was more influential probably at the time than he would be now, but I had convinced my brother that I had the best Mother's Day gift. What was it? Well, I had seen in was it the Woolco it was called? It was probably the Canadian equivalent of the Woolworth at the time. And in the Woolco, they had the absolute bomb. They had a Batmobile with the Batboat. There was Batman and Robin, and I don't know what's going on over there. There's the bus depot. They're cleaning a bus. And it was like, you know, it was the bomb. And I thought, like, wow, if I don't get that, but how do I get that? And I don't have money to get that and a Mother's Day present. I guess that's what was going through my head. Because anyway, I convinced my brother that that would be the absolute beautiful Mother's Day present. That my mother could, you know, be proud and put the Batmobile on, you know, on her credenza or whatever, you know, and you know, just like show how nice this would be. She could put it beside, you know, maybe the teacups that she had from her great grandmother, stuff like that, and it would be beautiful. And, you know, bonus to that is that we could probably even play with it. Well, the Batmobile is here. It was one of these Corgi toys, and it was, I put it this way, It was in pristine condition, and I mean pristine condition, up to a few years back. But I haven't quite finished the story of the Batmobile with my mom, because of course my brother got cold feet, and he told my mom about it, and so we did have a bit of a chat, I guess. I don't remember what we did finally get her. But the deal or the workaround is that it became a Christmas present, and it was packed and put away. It became a Christmas present. So I had that Batmobile and the Batboat. The Batboat's upstairs. I don't know where and like I said, it was in pristine condition until Mrs. DC, in her wisdom, or misguided wisdom at one point, because the children had seen it, our two boys, and of course they were lusting after it. And like I say, it was in a beautiful condition. It had not been, we had been very careful with it. It was not scratched, it was nothing. And she let the boys play with it when I was on a business trip, and she had the boys play with it in the sand over at the apartment where we used to live, and they scrapped it. They scrapped it. Batman must be crying. I don't know where Robin is anymore. There's 2 tires missing here. It's all scratched up. The windshields have been busted. Let me see, can the chain thing still? Yeah, it still comes out. That's, the cut chains. And if you turn here, there's fire that comes out. And this thing here, you could put, there was little balms that you could put, and you can still hear the spring. Like I said, I don't know where Batman is right now. Anyway, and so basically I don't want to say they scrapped it, but you know what? I was actually pretty mad when I got home and saw what they had done to my Batmobile. So we took it out of circulation before they completely destroyed it, and I put it away. I've got it actually now upstairs as a reminder of my past, and basically it's been a story for a while. I had kept this in such great condition, and it was scrapped in probably a week. So all this leading up to, I said, a tale of 2 Batmobiles, because last weekend was Father's Day, and Father's Day, well, my son and daughter-in-law, so the parents of Michael, they made a little mini multi-geocache, I call it. So I had to go all around the grounds. There were hints put there, here and there. And so it wasn't with coordinates, it was with hints. So I would go from one place to another. When I'd find the next hint, I'd go on. So I walked all around the grounds to finally find a little box. Within that little box, it was a Lego Batmobile. If you notice, by the way, there's no place for Robin in this one. And Batman is oversized, maybe, compared to the Batmobile. But my son said that it's actually, the idea behind that was that they had scrapped my beautiful little Batmobile. So they bought me another one to put aside and to remind me of the whole story. So that's kind of cute, isn't it? So that's why I call it a tale of 2 Batmobiles. So here they are. There they are. There's the 2 Batmobiles. The Corgi one, so the original one, is by far, that was class. This is a lot of fun. You can take it apart, but you can tell it's different. It's different, but they are now for me both very important collector items. So yeah, so that is it. A little bit of a story of youth, a story of today, both around the Batmobile. I guess they realize that it's still kind of like comic books and stuff like that. At least the old style ones, not the new ones so much. Anyway, so that was my vlog for today. Today's Saturday, and we're going to have to go do a little bit of shopping and if we're lucky, the weather will hold out. Anyway, enjoy your weekend, everybody. So that's DC signing off. Bye-bye. Take care.